When I saw French people sitting in terraces having coffee, I kept thinking about their way to enjoy life, about their so-called know-how, how to please themselves. I would like this first video to be a tribute to my grandmother. Now I'm currently living in France and I grew up in the Soviet Union. During one of my trips to Paris, I was regularly coming to one of the cafes. It was not far from Métro République, and each time I noticed a woman. She used to come every morning, and obviously an elderly woman. Obviously she was having some difficulties because she was walking with a cane, and you could see that it's difficult for her to walk. But nevertheless, she arrived at the cafe and had her cup of coffee, enjoying the morning, watching the street and watching the people. And immediately I thought that my grandmother unfortunately wouldn't be able to enjoy that, and not at all because she grew up and lived the most of her life in the Soviet Union, not because of this, but because of her character, because of her nature, because of her self-sacrifice probably. I remember a couple of instances. One of the examples was when I entered the university, and she wanted somehow to congratulate me on that, and she was choosing jewelry to give me as a present. Actually, this is the ring, and this is grandmother's present. I have it still. She noticed a woman who was choosing a gold chain for herself, and she said she was so carefully choosing it. She was picking whether it was becoming, not very becoming, choosing between different variants, and she added, well, it's ridiculous actually, because I would have never been able to pick this carefully if it were for me, if it was for me, only for somebody of you, but for me, no, never. At that time, I didn't like grandmother's position, propagating of self-sacrifice, but today probably I'm more of the opinion that the world is not centered around each of us. Another instance is when she was talking about her cooker, and she said, my gas cooker, when I had it first, it didn't work properly because the oven was not perfect. It was heating slowly, and afterwards it was too hot, and so on and so forth. And some people changed this model, but I decided that I would adapt probably. It was about disturbing people and so on and so forth. And you know what? Of course we should have changed, she said. Yes. Several days ago I had a discussion with my mother when we recollected that. These reminiscences of grandmother. And she said, yes, she enjoyed beautiful things, she loved beautiful things, but she usually kept thinking whether she should really buy them for herself to please herself. And that's why when I saw people sitting in a cafe, and when I was observing that elderly woman, I thought that my grandmother wouldn't go there because she would think that probably it's unnecessary spending money. She wouldn't like to have it alone, to have this pleasant moment alone, and she would actually want to share it with someone. If it were not about sharing, if it were not a conversation with somebody of her friends or with somebody of her relatives, she would prefer to have her cafe home as usual. Actually, I wanted to ask you if you keep hesitating before giving yourself some little pleasures. See you. To be continued.